Just the Two of Us presents Toxicity. The mall was overcrowded. It was a December evening with Christmas just around the corner. Last-minute shoppers littered the multi-floored shopping complex. One such shopper was a man in his early 40s. He dressed in a sleek black winter coat that made him look well put together. This image was only betrayed by a veneer of stubble upon his smiling face. He walked casually through the crowds with his daughter trailing behind him. His daughter was a high schooler in a puffy pink jacket and pink fuzzy earmuffs. "Dad, how much longer do we have to be here?" the girl spoke up with impatience. "Hold on, Orla. We just have 2 more stores we have to hit up. The most important ones while we're at it," the man spoke back, impervious to her impatience. "Then why didn't we do those first?" Orla retorted. "Because it's a surprise, a nice end to the day," he explained. "Well, you better hurry. At this rate, the mall's gonna close before you're finished," she resigned before an itch in her throat provoked a coughing fit. The man responded at first by digging through a small bag on his back. "Oh no, did the medicine stop working? Shit, I don't have any more on me right now." "It's fine, just let's hurry," she said. "Well, we should at least stop and get you some more first. Places like this are a haven of sickness. I don't want you to get any worse." His concern felt overprotective to Orla. It was just a cough. She knew she'd be fine, but he pointed out to a store on a corner of the mall's pathways. It was a small shop with large block letters that said GNS, the General Nutrition Store. "No, see, we're right next to a GNS, he said as he started pushing his way through the crowds to get there. Orla followed him, but still protested. "Isn't that like a supplement store or whatever, though?" "Well, they must have something that'll help," the man said with an unearned confidence. He was always like this, Orla thought. He just plows through life thinking everything will end up his way, and from what she had seen, that's just not how things work. They walked into the mostly empty store of supplements. The only other people being a fit man with an oversized neck in his 50s working the counter, and a young woman with her hair pulled tight into a ponytail scanning the shelf of energy drinks intensely. The pair walked in, and the father started to casually look over the signs indicating which shelves were which. "Let's see, they have a vitamin shelf at least. Should we just get you some vitamin C?" "I don't think that's going to help right now," Orla responded between coughs. It was getting more active than she'd like to admit. The man took her advice and instead went straight to the counter. "Excuse me, do you have any cold medicine?" He spoke to the thick-necked worker. The worker was bald, and the man couldn't tell if it was natural or by choice. He looked down and saw his name tag said Mortimer, store manager. Perfect, he thought. If anyone would know if they had medicine, it'd be this guy. "Yeah, we have some at the counter, right here," the man was explaining before being interrupted by yet more of Orla's coughing. "Whoa, can you ask your daughter to stand outside? I don't need my customers getting sick here," he snapped. Orla's dad turned back to his daughter and spoke softly to her. "It'll just be a minute, honey. Just stand at the door, where I can see you, and don't wander." "I'm not 8, Dad," she said in annoyance before walking out to the other side of the entrance. Her dad turned back to the counter and picked up some cherry-flavored cold medicine. Orla used to love cherries, he thought. He knew he picked the right stuff. Mortimer lifted a hand scanner used for checkout and scanned the medicine and then held out a hand. The man stood there for a moment, not picking up on the cue. "Just need to see some ID," Mortimer finally spoke up. The man, jolting into realization, started to dig through his pockets for his wallet. "Oh boy, haven't had to pull out this thing in some time," he joked as he pulled out his ID. It was the same joke he said every single time he was asked for it. Mortimer, for his part, wasn't annoyed by the joke, but just with life. He was bored, and this was just one of hundreds of customers he had dealt with by the end of this day. "Sure," he said dismissively. "I just can't sell it without scanning the ID first." "Oh, really? Technology sure comes with some problems, huh?" The man tried to lighten the mood with more light conversation. Mortimer just ignored it and went on with his scripted spiel. "While you're here, are you a member? Members get a discount on select energy drinks today." "Oh, sorry, no, I just need the medicine is all." The awkward feeling of 2 individuals locked in conversation while not actually connecting was strong. Orla was watching from the sidelines and was cringing at how uncomfortable the whole interaction was. Mortimer looked down at the ID as he scanned it, flipping it back and forth. Something finally broke the awkward connection they were having. Cian. Weird name. For the first time all day, the man felt stopped by something. His casual attitude interrupted by an annoyance. "It's pronounced Cian, like Ian with a K sound. It's Irish." Cian had spent his whole life having to explain this to people. The annoyance faded as he tried to push back into his carefree attitude. After all, it wasn't this guy's fault his parents went with a more traditional name. But for Orla, her annoyance didn't fade so quickly. She knew her dad didn't enjoy having to explain his name all the time. And yet, he did the very same thing to her. Her name was spelled Orlaith, and has been subject to all of her teachers and peers every year calling her Orlaith. The annoyance seemed to be spreading. The young woman who was browsing the energy drinks had advanced to the line and was huffing. "Excuse me, can you hurry up? My break only goes so long," she finally blurted out. "Oh, sorry, yeah. Here's my card." "Thanks." Cian paid for the medicine and darted out of the way. He wasn't very good at noticing when he was taking up too much time, but when he became aware he was being a problem, he was always swift to correct it. "Sorry, Ida, those energy drinks don't count for the discount," Mortimer then said to the high-strung woman. "What? Are you kidding me?" The conversation continued as Cian moved out of earshot into the roiling crowds of people to give the cherry-flavored medicine to his daughter. "Here, take this, and let's get to the next store. We're getting your mom's Christmas gift there." Orla was taken aback. "You haven't gotten her one yet? Dad, it's mid-December. How do you know there'll be anything left?" She was already accepting that he thought it was okay to shop this late for Christmas, but this statement was bewildering to her. I know, but I couldn't figure out what to get her. That's why I waited until it was my weekend with you," he started to explain. He couldn't get much further than that before they were interrupted by a young man with a backward hat and a skateboard under his arms, pushing through from the nearby fountain. Orla spotted him immediately and started to tug her dad's sleeve toward, well, really any direction as long as they didn't stay where they were. "Okay, let's get going then," she said. "Orla? Orla!" The voice of a young man rang out. It was too late. "Oh, God," she said to herself. With a grin on his face, Cian began to tease his daughter. "Who's that? Your boyfriend?" "Dad, no way. Let's just keep moving," she scolded. It was too late, however, to get away. The boy had arrived. "Hey, Orla, how's it going? I hadn't seen you in English class lately. You doing okay?" he asked with concern, but also like he was holding back trying to talk about something. Orla couldn't help herself from rolling her eyes. "Oh, yeah, I'm doing fine, Derek," she said, trying to mask that she didn't want to have this conversation. "She's been a little sick lately," Cian interjected. "Oh, no! Well, I hope you feel better," Derek followed up. He was being genuine, but he was trying too hard to sound casual about it. It wasn't too hard to see the boy had a crush on Orla. "I am. It's nothing big," she informed him. She started tugging on her dad's sleeve again, trying to get him to pull them out of the situation. But hearing it wasn't anything serious, Derek continued on with his big mission. "Oh, cool. Well, I'm having a party next weekend. If you're doing good by then, you could totally go." He was far from casual about it. "Oh, I'm actually at my mom's next weekend. Maybe some other time," she was able to say with relief. Derek, for his part, was feeling the rejection. His crush on Orla always made him feel nervous around her, and no matter how much he rehearsed staying cool under fire, he was obviously shaken by it. The only thing he could do at this point was dig deeper and read into what she was saying. Obviously, this weekend was a no-go, but that's not really a rejection, is it? Cool. No worries. Well, I gotta get going. I start my shift at the skate shop in 15. The manager has to leave early, and he's asked me to close it down for him. I'll catch you later." Derek was starting to take on more responsibilities at Zoomers, the premier shop for young skaters. He was saving up for a car, hoping it would make him more appealing to Orla if he was able to drive. Orla was finally relieved of this interaction. How stressful it was for her. "He seemed like a nice boy," Cian said, unaware his daughter was not into it at all. But she was quick to correct him on the take. "Yeah, right. His idea of a party is just getting his friends to hang out in his basement to smoke weed and play pool." "Well, you're way too young for that. I can't believe his parents let him do that." He was taken aback by something for the first time all week. As far as I know, his parents don't care what he does as long as it's at the house. She didn't like that she could relate to Derek so much on this topic. Her parents were a little overbearing, in a way that they were overly supportive of her. It felt like they were so self-involved that they didn't care what she did, so long as it was safe in what she wanted to do. It was a hard thing to express. How could her parents feel so overbearing and yet so neglectful? This medicine must be making her thoughts go in weird places. She had to snap out of it. "So, what store are we going to?" "Oh, we're going to Tech Center," he responded casually as they maneuvered the crowds. "You're getting her a computer?" She seemed surprised. Did he not know? "Or whatever, it depends on what you think she wants," he said distractedly as he navigated the mall using stores like landmarks. "I don't think she wants any tech," she responded. "Well, the only other thing I could think of was jewelry, but that'd be weird, right?" He was at a loss of what was appropriate to get as a gift. Yeah, it reeks of wanting to get back together again, Orla chuckled. Her parents getting back together felt like a joke to her. In retrospect, they hadn't been divorced for very long. She was still young when it happened, but she's also still pretty young now. Yet it feels like ages ago.
And this was what was normal to her.
The idea of them being a couple was just too weird at this point. See, that's why I thought she'd maybe want like a phone or something. He really didn't know what to get her. Okay, let's take a look. I really don't think she'll want anything here, though. He really didn't know. Why does he feel like getting her gifts when he doesn't even know what her interests are? As the pair debated gift ideas while looking around the store, a man with thick dark hair and thick glasses approached them. He was wearing a green shirt with a white "TA" Tech Center Specialist embroidered on it. "Hello, can I help you find something?" he interjected confidently into their conversation. "No, we're just browsing." Orla was quick to dismiss the man, knowing full well he was only interested in making a sale, not to be helpful. Cian was not so aware. "Yeah, we're looking for gifts for her mother." "Is she a big gamer?" he asked, knowing it was unlikely. He just wanted to get the idea out of the way. He had a procedure he followed, a flowchart of conversation to try and narrow down what he was to sell that day. "I don't think so," Cian affirmed the man's suspicions. "Yeah, she already has a good PC, though," Orla sighed out her answer. Her dad really didn't know. "She does?" This was the second time he was taken aback. A genuine surprise came from him over this news. His surprise really didn't surprise Orla, though. Ta, seeing an unexpected opportunity, jumped on the situation. He saw his customers as gazelles, leaping through life unaware that they are there simply to feed him, the lion, and he was ready to pounce. "But is her graphics card as good as the latest RTM 9400? Ta asked, knowing the answer was no. And with how clueless the dad was, he knew he was about to hit the jackpot on sales. "Yeah, she already has one. See, Dad, I'm telling you, I don't think she needs anything here." Orla casually dismissed Ta once more. Ta was stunned. What did she just say? Cian, too, was stunned. What did she just say? Wait, when did she get into computers? Cian asked as though he missed something important. "A while ago," Orla explained as Ta regained his senses. "Wait, the RTM 9400 just came out this month. How'd she get her hands on it?" This little girl was giving him a hard time. She's lying just to get out of this sale. However, Orla was starting to get annoyed. She was being pressed over something she didn't think was any of his business. She has a sponsorship. She was gifted one last month. She relented the information. Hopefully that's enough for him to go away. "She does? She always told me she hated my gaming." Cian was still in shock. He tried to get her into gaming all the time, and every time she was just so dismissive of it all. He had a large stack of co-op games that he eventually sold because she just wouldn't play with him. Something isn't right, he thought. Not the time. Let's just go to the jewelry store. I think she wanted new earrings anyway. Orla pulled her dad away from Tech Center to try and drop the conversation. It was going somewhere she didn't want. "No way! I've been trying to get a sponsorship with them for years," Ta shouted on their way out in disbelief. Having won the interaction, Orla shouted back. Better luck next time, I guess?" As they exited, Cian could see the clock on one of the mall's walls. It was getting late and they needed to hurry. This would have to wait. Okay, yeah, let's head over to Jay's and get some earrings then. The crowds were getting tighter. Were more people in here than before? It must have filled up with the people who had work earlier that needed to make a stop here still before close. As they jostled through the crowds, Orla started her coughing fits again. Cian stopped and she ran into him. "The medicine not helping yet? I only just took it. I'll be fine," she explained. "Well, we're almost done, and then we'll get home and you can rest," he said softly to her, assuring her that they'd be done very soon. Or so he thought. As he approached Jay's, they saw there was only one worker with a couple already ahead of them. "Oh shit, how's there a line at the jewelry store?" "It's almost Christmas. Everything has a line," she explained. It felt like she was always having to explain to him. Shit, we're running out of time before the mall closes. Cian grimaced, knowing that they still had one more stop after this. The couple ahead of them were taking their sweet time too. Cian thought maybe they just didn't know what they were looking for, as they seemed very out of place. They were in a fancy jewelry shop, and the couple before them were very, goth. They dressed in flowing black outfits, her with a black dress and him with a black duster. The both of them had dyed their hair pitch black, and, now it was making sense. They were also covered in jewelry. Piercings, necklaces, rings, you name it. "You're really gonna get those rings?" the woman said with her excitement bringing her naturally high voice a pitch higher. "Yeah," the man said confidently. They were staring at a set of rings with bat wings and red gems centered in the middle. It looked like if a bat was covered in red spider eyes. "Oh my god, Orpheus, thank you so much," the woman exclaimed to her apparent boyfriend. "You should be thanking me, Asta. These bat rings will look fantastic on me," Orpheus said confidently with a sense of grandeur. Asta wasn't surprised he was buying them for himself, but she did have to hide her disappointment. It was clear now that this couple was actually one-sided. "Oh, yeah, totally. You'll look so hot." She pined for his attention, so she had to pivot back to massaging his ego, masking that disappointment. I know. Everything he said oozed with confidence. Or ego. One of those two. He was so suave, she thought. The man working the counter, however, cared not who it was for. All he cared about was keeping his business going. He was in his 40s, but he didn't age as well as Cian did. He had wrinkles all over his face, and his dark hair was in the form of a thin, wispy comb-over. He didn't care what he looked like, however. He knew it was money that drove the world, not looks. "Thanks for your business," he bade as a farewell to the goth couple before seeing Cian and Orla. "Ah, another customer. What can I do for you? Looking for a new necklace, perhaps, for the young lady?" Orla's cough started to act up more vigorously than before. She almost buckled over this time at the force of the cough. The man was not pleased with this, but he was trained in customer service. As politely as he could, he asked of the girl, "Oh, sorry, do you mind? I don't want you coughing on all my valuable jewelry." Customer service to him meant be polite when you ask rude things. Orla groaned at once again being asked to leave a store. If she had her way, she'd be at home by now already. "Whatever, Dad, just get her some nice earrings. I'll stand outside." She relented and stood away from the man's precious jewelry. "Thanks, honey," Cian said casually before turning back to the man. His name tag read Pow. "Yeah, Mr. Pow, I'm looking for some earrings." "Oh, purple ones. Her mother's favorite color." Of course. We have some beautiful amethyst earrings right this way." The man, Pow, led Cian over to some displays, leaving Orla to stand outside watching the crowds, trying her hardest to subdue yet another coughing fit. And it wasn't working. She felt her head burning up, and her chest felt tight. It was time to admit this cough was growing into a problem.